So we're at the end of the flashback in this chapter. Loki had just killed Harold, and we're seeing like the aftermath of it. With Skopper talking to Jarl, where they're like grateful that Loki had shown up, because if he hadn't, no one could have stopped Harold. He just kept regenerating. On top of that, he was just really powerful, because of the covenant that Imu had given him, which also made him evil. It's also pretty crazy that not even Skopper and Shanks teaming up could stop him. I mean, we talked about this before. This was like 14 years ago, so Shanks wasn't as powerful as he is now, but still pretty powerful. And Skopper seemingly was still just as powerful as he had ever been at that point. Not even he, with his advanced Conqueror's Haki, could stop Harold. Came down to Loki having to eat the legendary devil fruit of Elbaf, which in this chapter we still don't know what it is. We're still not even really getting any hints to it. Now, for both sets of the spoilers that we went over earlier in this week, it said that Loki could fly, because at the end of this chapter he says, "You guys go on ahead, I'll just fly up there." In the translations that we're getting today, he doesn't say that. He says he'll just jump up there, jump up the tree to where, everybody else is with the Holy Knights and Imu and everything. Now, again, it really comes down to like several different translations, because there's multiple people that are translating this. Some people like to choose different words, different localizations. I guess it really comes down to what the official translation will be on Sunday, but if he is actually saying jump, then I don't know if that has to do with his devil fruit. Maybe he's just a beast because he's so freaking huge that he could just jump, because I'm sure a straw hat could jump a similar distance in context to something as big as them as the tree is to Loki. Or, you know what I mean, one of the 4 strong straw hats. I mean, not even Jarl even has an idea what the devil fruit is, because he's talking to Skopper about the devil fruit, and he's like, "Did you know that it was this powerful?" And Jarl's like, "I didn't know anything about it. I'm just glad Loki showed up, because if he didn't, then, Harold would have just kept rampaging. Probably would have eventually defeated Skopper and Shanks due to just exhaustion." And I guess that goes into Haki not transcending all, because on paper, no devil fruit should ultimately matter if it comes down to just who has the stronger Haki. But I guess the devil fruit made Loki stronger and enhanced his Haki, the way that the Nika fruit does for Luffy. I guess that's what happened. I mean, Harold ultimately had to just like overpower Imu's evil control power thing, and then I guess uncode himself from the Conqueror's Haki to allow Loki to hit him with one big blast at the end of the previous chapter. I mean, I'm just assuming that's what had happened. Who knows what would have happened otherwise, but yeah, we still don't know what the fruit is. Maybe it's the Needhog Dragon Mythical Zoan. Maybe it's not. Who knows when we'll find out. But we're also seeing Loki like crying as he's sitting next to Harold's corpse. And I say that because there is a big theory out there that Harold is like still alive, and that he could be the man marked by flames, or the man with the burn scar. We are seeing, like I said, technically his dead body here, but he is covered by Loki's feathered cape thing, which I guess is like his homage to Rox. But there is like a lot of blood there too. So maybe Harold is straight up dead here, and this is confirming it. The verdict is still out on that. Again, like I said many times before, I'm not trying to convince you guys that Harold is the man marked by flames. I'm just saying that it is a possibility. But we're cutting away from that momentarily, and we're coming to Imu talking to the Gorosei about Harold's death. And apparently Harold dying is like affecting Imu, because if someone that made a covenant with Imu dies, it like affects them. I don't know if it like drains their life force or weakens them or something, but it does something to them, because Imu is like breathing heavy here. And they say that every covenant comes with a price to be paid for Imu. So yeah, for sure that's giving us insight into how Imu will be eventually overcome, or just weakened eventually. Like once you take out enough Holy Knights or the Gorosei or whatever, it drains Imu's power or something. Still don't know what Imu's power is. It's even more of a mystery than what Loki's devil fruit is at this point. It's probably not even a devil fruit. Right now I have like a rough theory that Imu has like the power of what the celestial dragon is. Like the dragon that we see in the first world on the Adam Tree mural. One way or another, this dragon became power for Imu. I don't know if they have like a Naruto Kurama type relationship going on, or if just all of the power just went into Imu and corrupted them or something. But I think that's what's going on. It's like the devil space dragon or something. You know, it came from space to some extent, maybe from the moon. It tried to take over Earth or something. Or also, Imu talks about how it was a really rare opportunity to get an ancient giant like Harold to accept the Covenant, and that basically Imu just doesn't like the ancient giants, and that history shows that they weren't ever going to be compatible, like the celestial dragons and the giants, and that Elbaf is of the D. So this is, I'm pretty sure, referencing the Void Century. Like, I guess Imu tried to make a covenant with the ancient giants back in the day, and they just refused them. Like, one of the rare instances of them just being flat out refused, other than like Joy Boy and the hardcore Ds out there, I guess. They just decided to align with Joy Boy. And maybe that has something to do with that flashback that we saw of Ace and Ors Jr. during Marineford, because I assume that that has to parallel to like Joy Boy and another ancient giant or something, right? And, you know, we also saw that the giants of Elbaf worship sun god Nika, who is, of course, like the D thing, other than like literally coming from Joy Boy and Davy Jones. But I guess they both were inspired by sun god Nika to some extent, since he is like the Jesus of this series. And then, contrast to that, the celestial dragon thing is like the devil. But I guess also this is why all of the ancient giants were genocided, because they refused to align with Imu, and they were all battle hungry or whatever, and Imu just didn't like them because of that. Or they disrespected Imu in some way, so they just decided to kill all of them. And I don't know how Ors Jr. survived, but somehow he did. So then at the very end of the flashback here, Loki says to Jarl and the rest of them there, you know, Scopper and Shanks, that, you know, I'm heading out to sea, and he's taking like the surviving guards with him. The long and the short of it is that he's implying that he's going to try to stop the world government or whatever because of what they did to Harold. And he also says that, you know, don't tell anyone what had happened here. He doesn't want to sully Harold's name, because Harold was like, you know, trying to save Elbaf. He was trying to make it a better place, trying to integrate it into the world government and erase the stigma that giants are like bad people, because I guess of what ancient giants or the giants of the past did when they aligned with Joy Boy instead of aligning with Imu. So he's like, I'll just take the blame for this. Even though Harold was like literally saying like, hey, tell everybody the truth of what had happened here today. You know, Loki's a good son. He's like, yeah, I can't do that, because then everyone's going to see that Harold was an idiot. And this also explains why Jarl is continuing to hold up the facade as well. It has nothing to do with the sword in his head, which I thought was giving him brain damage. It's just Harold willingly chose to go along with the lie along with Loki. And it also makes me wonder, like, what's the point of the sword in his head? I mean, I know that Harold stabbed him, but like, other than that, is it just like a quirky thing Oda wanted to give him? Because other than that, he doesn't really have much characterization going on for him. I don't know. But yeah, back to Loki leaving and going out into the world. He's like, yeah, with this devil fruit, I'm gonna settle the regrets of Harold. And Jarl's like, you know, hey, Loki, don't be hasty. Don't get in over your head. The world government, pretty powerful. And we see Scopper and Shanks like look at Loki like, hey, watch what you're doing. And I guess this leads to Shanks eventually capturing Loki 6 years later, or 8 years later. Like, if this is 14 years ago from the present, Shanks captured Loki 6 years from the present. So yeah, 8 years after Loki leaves, Shanks eventually captures him. So I guess Loki was just chilling out there for 8 years or something, or just, I don't know, exploring the world, because I guess Loki needed to explore at some point. I guess he was on Elbaf most of his life, if not his whole life up until this point. I don't know why he just waited so long to go after the world government, because I'm assuming that's why Shanks stopped him, because he realized, you know, hey, you know, they're going to kill you if you go after them, so I'll just stop you and send you back to Elbaf to save your life. Which also, you know, we talked about this many times, holy crap, Shanks is so powerful, because Loki was strong enough to take down Harold, and at that time Shanks couldn't. So I guess in those 8 years, Shanks' power level to, you know, as powerful as he is now, or close to it. But yeah, Shanks still able to defeat Loki with one arm, while Loki has 2 devil fruits, one of the crazy legendary devil fruits, whatever eye stuff he has going on, and then Conqueror's Hockey. So then after this, we come back to the present, and we see that Hyrule finds out everything about what had happened, and he forgives Loki, as he should. So then they're all like, okay guys, you know, now that we got this out of the way, there's a lot of stuff going on, you know, up in the upper levels of the tree, you know, with the Holy Knights being there and the rest of the giants and the kids all in danger and everything. So like, we got to get to business. So then out of nowhere, a Draugr, one of Killingham's dream monster things from his devil fruit, comes down there. I think I said Summers before. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sure that upset a lot of you. I didn't mean to. I'm just stupid. Sometimes the wires get crossed in my head. I don't have many wires up there, so like sometimes the three of them get crossed. But yes, Killingham. This is Killingham's devil fruit ability. But anyway, this Draugr monster conveniently falls down there just in time to job to Loki, because, you know, now that the flashback is over and we saw how powerful Loki could be, we want to see him fight. And that's exactly what happens. He quickly takes out this Draugr monster at the end of the chapter using Ragnir, especially now that the sea stone chains have come off of him, and he freezes him solid, you know, surprising Luffy, who really wanted to see him in action. And that's where the chapter ends. So we talked about this before too. Ragnir, who ate a devil fruit, a hammer that ate a devil fruit. We don't know what devil fruit it is, you know, mythical zone of some extent, you know, squirrel, Reditasker. It has ice powers and lightning powers, which, you know, sure, mythical Zoans have multiple abilities, so this isn't unheard of, but still pretty crazy that it has this. But yeah, that's where the chapter ends. Let me know what you guys thought about this in the comments. And if you liked the video, please give it a like, please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.